Clear.
John Carpenter's The Thing is one of the most terrifying practical effects masterpieces ever made. And behind its icy horror lies a long list of secrets you were never meant to know. Fact 1. Carpenter wanted every creature transformation to look sickeningly real, so the effects team used actual animal organs in many sequences. The set smelled so awful during those scenes that crew members often gagged while filming. Buckets of real guts were kept refrigerated until needed, but once placed under hot studio lights, they began to rot. Actors said it was impossible to act disgusted because the stench triggered real physical reactions. Rob Bottin, the effects legend behind the monsters, insisted that fake materials couldn't match the texture of real organic tissue. Whenever the creature exploded or opened up, the slime and innards you see are mostly real biological pieces. Some days the crew refused to eat lunch after filming intense gore shots. The rancid odor lingered in the air, sticking to clothes and hair even after shooting wrapped. The actors said the set felt like a slaughterhouse instead of a sci-fi set. Carpenter used wide shots to capture the real-time shock on the cast's faces. Many takes were kept because their revulsion looked too genuine to recreate. The production team sanitized the area constantly, but the smell always returned, and the realism of those organs helped define the thing's gruesome, unforgettable identity. Fact 2.
Is it pukes? Yeah.
To make the Antarctic setting convincing, the crew lowered the indoor temperature to near freezing levels. The actors' breath vapor in many scenes isn't CGI. It's their real breath crystallizing in the cold air. Filming became physically exhausting because the temperature made everyone's muscles stiff. Their voices often shook naturally during dialogue because they were freezing. The crew wore heavy coats while the cast braved thin costumes designed for the script. The cold also changed how actors moved, giving them a sluggish, survivalist physicality. Kurt Russell joked that the set felt colder than the glacier sequences shot outdoors. The freezing temperatures helped build tension because everyone was already on edge. Props became brittle, making some equipment crack unexpectedly during takes. Even simple actions like holding metal tools became painful. The director believed the discomfort forced real reactions that enhanced the paranoia on screen. Actors huddled around heaters between takes to stay functional. And the icy environment fused perfectly with the film's creeping sense of isolation. Fact 3.
Come on, child. Burn me.
The movie's legendary creature designer, Rob Bottin, pushed himself so hard that he was hospitalized from exhaustion after production wrapped. He worked nearly non-stop for over a year, sleeping on the studio floor instead of going home. Bottin oversaw every transformation, puppet, prosthetic, and gore effect personally. He refused to delegate major creature shots because he wanted total control over the look. His perfectionism led him to rebuild designs repeatedly until they matched Carpenter's horrific vision. Crew members described his workshop as a chaotic maze of latex, wires, and half-finished monsters. Bottin's self-imposed workload reached such intensity that nurses later said he arrived at the hospital suffering from severe stress. Carpenter admired his dedication, but admitted the schedule was brutal. Some creatures were so complex that dozens of puppeteers worked to operate a single shot. Bottin's drive gave the film its unforgettable originality. Every grotesque form felt like it came from a fevered mind running at full power. His sacrifice became a legendary part of The Thing's history, and many fans credit his exhaustion-fueled obsession for the film's timeless visual impact. Fact 4. The infected dog in the opening act wasn't CGI or a trained stunt animal. It was just an unnervingly calm, highly disciplined dog. The canine moved with eerie precision, walking slowly and silently through the base as if it understood the script. Crew members said the dog never looked directly at the camera unless instructed. Its stillness made every scene more unsettling because it behaved nothing like a normal, curious animal. Trainers said the dog's ability to hit marks without hesitation was almost unnatural. Carpenter used long, quiet takes to amplify the eerie effect. Actors admitted the dog genuinely made them uncomfortable on set. Its ability to stare blankly without emotion added to the tension in every shot. Even moments when it passed behind characters were choreographed perfectly. The dog's subtle body language made the creature reveal far more disturbing. Its calmness became a key part of the film's dread. And to this day, fans praise the animal's performance as one of the most chilling in horror history. Fact 5.
The blood from one of you things won't obey when it's attacked. It'll try and survive.
The iconic blood test scene worked because Carpenter and the effects team approached it like a stage illusion. They constructed fake arms, hidden syringes, and heated prosthetics to create the sudden jump scare effect. John Carpenter intentionally misled the audience by shooting earlier tests as slow and predictable. He wanted viewers lulled into thinking nothing unexpected would happen. The cast wasn't told exactly when the explosive blood reaction would occur. Their panic in the final take was completely real. The prosthetic hand holding the blood sample was built with a hidden mechanism that snapped violently when activated. Kurt Russell had to match his movements precisely to sync with the prosthetic arm's timing. The moment was rehearsed like a magic trick to ensure the shock looked instantaneous. Every camera angle was chosen to hide the sleight of hand. The sudden jolt became one of the film's most unforgettable scares, and the precision behind the effect is still studied by filmmakers today. Fact 6. One of the largest creature rigs ever built for a horror film was constructed for The Thing, yet it appears for only moments in the final cut. The massive puppet required dozens of operators pulling cables, pushing levers, and coordinating movements behind the set. It was so heavy that the floor had to be reinforced to support its weight. The crew rehearsed the monster's movement for days just to film a few seconds of chaos. Carpenter cut most of the footage because he wanted the creature to remain mysterious. Even unused shots revealed incredible detail that audiences never got to see. The enormous puppet dripped real slime to enhance its organic look. Every limb was controlled individually, creating a disturbing unpredictability in motion. Operators described the monster as a mechanical nightmare to work with. Its complexity pushed the effects team to their limits. Although most of the rig remains unseen, its presence shaped the film's visual ambition. Bottin later said the monster represented the peak of his practical effects madness, and fans still debate what the creature fully looked like off-camera. Fact 7.
We got to it before it had time to finish.
Carpenter deliberately kept parts of the script hidden so the cast couldn't predict who the thing would mimic. This created genuine paranoia among the actors, reflecting the story's central tension. Some performers admitted they suspected each other between takes. The lack of clarity made every interaction slightly strained. Carpenter believed confusion produced more authentic reactions. Even table scenes felt charged because no one knew the truth. Actors debated theories off camera, mirroring the character's desperation. The secrecy heightened emotional intensity during confrontations. Each cast member tried to read subtle cues in others' behavior. The uncertainty also prevented rehearsed comfort between actors. Carpenter revealed answers only when absolutely necessary. This method fueled the film's unsettling tone, and the cast's real mistrust became the backbone of the movie's suspense. Fact 8. The opening sequence required the crew to film in freezing temperatures and unpredictable winds. The helicopter pilots had to navigate dangerously low over snowy terrain. Visibility dropped constantly as blowing snow obscured the landscape. Actors struggled to move convincingly in heavy snow drifts. The dog had to perform perfectly despite the harsh environment. Crew members fought to keep equipment from freezing. Cameras jammed repeatedly due to the cold. The team endured long hours with numb hands and faces. Carpenter insisted on real locations to establish authenticity. The natural light created striking contrasts across the ice. The isolation of the setting became a character itself. The sequence's realism came from the cast's genuine discomfort. and the opening chase set the tone for the entire film's relentless tension. Fact 9. MacReady's explosive reactions were so physical that Kurt Russell unintentionally broke several pieces of the set. His aggressive movements sometimes knocked over props not meant to fall. The production team had to rebuild sections after intense scenes. Russell threw himself completely into the character's desperation. Carpenter encouraged the violent energy because it felt real, but the crew often scrambled to reset damaged equipment. Russell laughed later about not knowing his own strength during filming. Some mishaps were kept in the final cut. The actor's intensity added unpredictability to every scene. His improvisation frequently surprised other cast members. The role demanded raw emotion, and Russell delivered it relentlessly. His physicality became one of the movie's defining qualities, and the accidental destruction only added authenticity to MacReady's chaos. Fact 10. Ennio Morricone composed one of his simplest but most unsettling soundtracks for The Thing. The score relied heavily on deep, pulsing tones instead of elaborate melodies. Carpenter wanted the music to feel like a heartbeat buried under ice. The minimalism created long stretches of silence that heightened paranoia. Audiences became uneasy, waiting for sound cues that never came. The tension grew as the score avoided traditional horror rhythms. Morricone's use of repetition echoed the slow dread of isolation. Even small musical stings felt enormous in contrast to the quiet. Some early critics didn't understand the soundtrack's restraint, but over time it became recognized as a masterclass in atmospheric scoring. The music feels alive, like something lurking beneath the snow. Its cold simplicity perfectly matches Carpenter's bleak vision, and today it's considered one of Morricone's most haunting works. Fact 11. The flamethrowers in The Thing weren't props. They were working weapons operated by trained crew members. The heat they produced was intense enough to scorch the set if mishandled. Kurt Russell had to undergo special safety training before firing one. The flames required a controlled environment to prevent accidents. Actors could feel the heat blast against their faces during takes. The crew stationed fire extinguishers just outside every frame. Carpenter wanted the danger to feel real on screen. The weight of the flamethrower added authenticity to Russell's performance. Sparks sometimes bounced unpredictably off snowy surfaces. The cast described filming these scenes as nerve-wracking but exhilarating. The flaming creature shots were done in single takes due to risk. The tension of using real fire heightened the actors' performances. And, to this day, the flamethrowers remain one of the most dramatic practical elements in the film. Fact 12. One of the film's most iconic effects, the severed head-growing spider legs, malfunctioned repeatedly. The legs wouldn't articulate smoothly during early tests. Pneumatic tubes kept slipping out of position. Hot lights dried the latex skin too quickly, causing cracks. Bottin's exhausted team struggled to keep the creature functional. The puppet required multiple operators working in sync. Each leg had its own control mechanism. Timing was crucial to avoid awkward, unnatural movements. Crew members panicked when the head collapsed during a rehearsal. They repaired it minutes before the final take. Carpenter nearly cut the scene due to delays, but once it worked, everyone knew it would become legendary. And the head spider is now considered one of horror's greatest practical effects. Fact 13. During the finale, a timed charge detonated closer to Russell than intended. The blast sent debris flying toward him. He instinctively ducked, narrowly avoiding injury. Crew members rushed in to check for burns or cuts. The explosion's force shook the entire set. Carpenter kept rolling because the raw reaction was perfect. Safety teams recalibrated remaining charges to prevent further incidents. Russell later admitted the moment genuinely scared him. The near miss added intensity to his performance in the final scenes. The crew praised his professionalism despite the danger. The explosion remains one of the film's most dramatic stunts. Fans often assume it was carefully choreographed, but the truth is far more chaotic. and Russell's survival was partly luck and partly quick reflexes. Fact 14. The cast and crew stayed in remote, snowy locations for weeks at a time. The isolation began to affect their moods and energy. Some actors reported feeling trapped, mirroring their characters' paranoia. Long shooting days in freezing conditions added emotional stress. The lack of sunlight made sleep cycles irregular. Crew members sometimes went days barely speaking outside of work. Carpenter used the isolation to deepen the film's tension. Actors bonded through shared discomfort. The environment forced everyone to rely heavily on each other. Even meals became quiet, exhausted gatherings. The psychological pressure created raw performances. Many cast members later said the environment was tougher than the filming itself, and the emotional fatigue became part of the film's haunting realism. Fact 15. The autopsy scene used realistic prosthetics mixed with animal tissue. The combination created a disturbing visual that unsettled everyone present. The actor playing Copper had to mimic medical precision while cutting into the goo. The smell of the materials intensified under the lights. Crew members gagged off camera during the first take. Carpenter encouraged the actor to stay calm and clinical. The realism made the scene feel like a genuine medical procedure. The squishy sound effects were captured live. Some cast members refused to watch the monitor during playback. The scene's shock value comes from its unfiltered authenticity. Even horror fans were stunned by the graphic detail. Bottin designed the internal organs to look disturbingly human, and the autopsy remains one of the most viscerally effective moments in the film. Fact 16. When The Thing was first shown to test audiences, the reactions were shockingly hostile. Viewers complained that the film was too bleak and too disturbing. Some walked out during the creature sequences. The studio feared the movie would be a financial disaster. Carpenter was stunned by how intensely people rejected the film. Many said they felt emotionally drained by the ending's ambiguity. Executives urged him to soften certain scenes, but he refused. Universal considered delaying the release. Because of the negative buzz, critics later echoed the test audience discomfort in early reviews. Carpenter believed audiences weren't ready for such nihilism. The sci-fi horror genre had never seen anything this hopeless. The backlash hurt Carpenter's confidence deeply, and ironically, the film that once horrified viewers became a cult classic decades later. Fact 17. In scenes where actual cold air wasn't enough, the effects team used a chemical mixture to enhance the breath vapor. Actors had to inhale carefully because the mixture could irritate the throat. The vapor created dense, dramatic plumes that looked perfect in low light. Crew members monitored the actors closely during these shots. The effect helped sell the Antarctic atmosphere even on indoor sets. The chemical had a sharp, icy smell that filled the room. Actors joked that it felt like breathing fog. Carpenter relied on the effect for shots where tension peaked. The vapor added a visual reminder of the freezing isolation. The mixture dissipated quickly, allowing for multiple takes. Lighting amplified the foggy streams for dramatic effect, and the technique became a signature part of the film's unsettling winter look. Fact 18. A full stop-motion sequence of a creature running across the snow was created, but removed from the final cut. Carpenter felt the animation didn't blend well with the film's realistic tone. The creature looked too unnatural compared to Bottin's practical monsters. The stop-motion team spent weeks perfecting the movement. Their work included multiple puppet versions of the creature. Test footage revealed a jarring contrast with live-action scenes. Carpenter made the difficult choice to scrap the entire sequence. The unused footage still exists in archives. Fans have seen brief glimpses in behind-the-scenes reels. The decision improved the film's visual consistency. It also kept the creature's movements grounded and terrifying, and the cut scene remains a fascinating lost effect from the production. Fact 19. The film's distinctive flaring lights used during night scenes were so specific that the crew bought every available unit in the city. Carpenter wanted the base to feel harsh and overlit against the dark snow. The lights produced long streaks and dramatic shadows. Their intensity made the set look brutally cold. Actors squinted constantly because of the brightness. The flares created a visual language unique to the film. Crew members struggled to keep them from overheating. Snow reflected the beams, amplifying the glare. Carpenter loved how the lights heightened paranoia at night. Their harshness emphasized the danger lurking outside. Using so many lights required a massive power setup, and the signature glow became one of the thing's most recognizable aesthetic traits. Fact 20. Carpenter intentionally wrote an ambiguous ending to keep fans debating who was infected. Neither actor was told the truth during filming. The lack of clarity created genuine tension in their final performances. The cold, dying fire symbolized humanity's last flicker. Carpenter wanted viewers to feel stranded with the characters. The ambiguous breathing patterns were left open to interpretation. Even the music offered no emotional guidance. Fans still analyzed tiny details, frame by frame. Carpenter refuses to confirm any theory. The ending's mystery kept the film alive for decades. Its uncertainty became a key part of the movie's legend, and the final moments remain one of horror's greatest unresolved questions.